Of
sis?
course I am. How are you doing, Jasmine? Hello
I
to
am good. How are
everyone.
you?
I'm doing well. I can't see everyone, but I can feel you guys. Hello to all of my students, even my alums who are sneaking back in here, still
Yes.
looking to land a job. Huge shout out to the female quoting. Big praises to Bank of America, as well as all of the amazing platforms that are dedicated just like yours to Black excellence and uplifting the Black voice and just women and just excellence in general. So I'm fresh off a set and I'm so
Okay.
excited to join you guys.
Okay.
I did a quick change because today's all
Okay.
about the ladies. So I
Yes.
had to
Girls
put on my
supporting girls.
girls.
Yes.
That's it. You said it.
Absolutely. So one of the biggest things that people have been saying, Mr. Tyler Perry said it during his acceptance speech at the BET Awards.
Yeah.
And one of the famous quotes that he said was, when they didn't give him a seat at the table, he built his own.
Yeah.
And so I want to know from you, how did you build your own seat at the table?
Well, actually, I remember I believe I was there for that one. And then I think the year before that, Jesse Williams gave an incredible speech. One thing that I said a while ago during a podcast, former student of mine, student leader of mine, who was a vice president of, SGA. And when we spoke and we talk about, right, getting a seat at the table, fighting for a seat at the table, earning a seat at the table. It was in that moment that I said, I don't want a seat at a table. I want to build the table and then assign the seats, right? Because when you build the table, you have the foundation. That's your table, right? If I'm coming to a table looking for a seat, that table, that chair might be broke, right? Or that table might not be the right size for me. But if I build that table, then not only, right, am I bringing a chair for myself to sit down, but I can assign seats for other leaders, open doors for other people to come and join me. And so when I'm not begging anyone for a seat at their table, I'm going to build my table and then assign seats for other leaders and other women to come through and come and have dinner with me. So that is my opinion on that question.
Awesome. And as a HBCU graduate, a fellow HBCU grad, how empowering is it for students when they graduate to reach out to women like you to get that knowledge of what it means to build your own table and not necessarily look for a seat at someone else's?
Listen, okay, now I'm talking to my sophomores, juniors, seniors, grad students. I'm talking directly to you guys through you, Jasmine, but it's extremely important. We're not talking about just reaching out. The first thing that I did when I graduated, I didn't have a job. I was in China in school. If you guys know a little bit about my background, I was Miss Del State. I was hosting everything, doing everything in life circumstances, being women, right? Just to be transparent, I was sick. A cyst, you can get a cyst anywhere. As women, you get cysts in your ovaries, they go away. And so it was some woman things, right? Which took me out. I learned 2 lessons then. One, if you miss a day, like when your mom says there's 100 people waiting to take your place.
Yeah.
In the entertainment world, it's about 1 billion. So you can't really afford to get sick. So that's the one thing I learned, especially when you're coming out of college. You can be the best at your university, but you're not only competing with your university, you're competing with the world. You're competing with people who are like you. You're competing with people of privilege, and you're competing with people who've been in the game for 10 years who still need a job. So I say that to say the first thing I did when I graduated, yes, I looked at people who did what I did to where I want to get to. But the first thing I did was I decided to build a board, right? Write that down, right? And what that is it's your personal arsenal of mentors, right? These are your alliances. Now, mind you, most of my board, I didn't know them. Some were accountants, some were old reporters, who maybe reported maybe 40 years ago. They don't even know anything about anything, but I can gain something from every one of them. And guess what I did? I followed up. I called them. I sent them my work. As my dad always said, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And if you want something from someone, it's not their job to call you back. It's not their job to DM you back. It's your job to go get with it that you want. So if you're seeking that advice and that guidance, you need to be on them. Yeah. So that's what I did. When I was like, where do I start? How do I find a job? Let me build a board of support. right? Because even if you don't have anything, it's the idea of one day I will. So that was my first step when I graduated, was just to build my board.
That's amazing. So one of the things that we are going to talk about this evening is statistics. And research shows by McKinsey and Company, it demonstrates that women of color are the most ambitious, yet least supported in the workplace. Like, that's a little astonishing, because it means that we go for it, but you don't support us when we go for it, right? So it says that while on average, women in the United States are paid 82 cents per dollar next to men, and Black women earn 20 cents less than the 82%. So in honor of this payday, you know, we're on a mission to change this. And women like you and women like the other women who are part of the panel, we're going to talk about what that means and what that does look like in the workplace. Because I actually haven't been in the workplace since 2012. Thank you, Jesus. I have worked for myself since 2012, started my company in 2014, and I've been here ever since. So, you know, we're going to talk about students who are interested in these internships with corporate America and how they can get in there and literally bust through the glass ceiling. And you're one of those people who walked into BT, became a media personality. Like, Jamila, I've heard about you for years, okay?
Now,
like,
Jasmine, and I hate to cut you off, but I really want to use this time as well to try to give some game to those who are attending, right? Because you said one key thing that I really love, and first of all, congratulations to you. You said, I have not been physically in a workplace since 2012, which is incredible, even through a pandemic. So congratulations to you and your platform. And for those who are watching, understand this, right? You told me you haven't been in a workplace since 2012, but since 2012, have you been in a position to negotiate your own rate? So when you talk about the money, right, and you talk about the workplace, understand, you know, I did a summit during quarantine for a brand, and it was work where you're at, right? And it was a huge festival, and they do those different things, and their brand is build your own brand. So I love it. It's a play on BYOB, but I love it because, like you said, your workplace isn't always the Viacom building, right? Your workplace can be anywhere. So anywhere a woman of color is, you're still negotiating. And for me, you know, when you take a look at, Jamila, what is it, right? I'm an independent contractor with all of these networks. I have a contract with MTV. I have agreements with MTV. I can work with anyone. So as a person, every single deal I do, I'm constantly negotiating, you know, whether it's with the big brand or whether it's with the independent, or even it could be a charity foundation. So you never stop negotiating. And as they always say, you never get paid your rate. You know, you never get paid your worth. You get paid what you negotiate. And to your point with that statistic from 2018, ideally, right? Because some people look at it and you throw these numbers out. For my college students who was like me, who like, okay, I get the math, but what does that really mean, right? Put it in my language. You know, for our ladies that are tuning in, what Jasmine means by those statistics of the 62% back in 2018, that's probably double, right, in 2021. But if we're just saying it, right, this basically means that typically Black women take nearly 7 extra months to be paid on average what a person who is not a woman of color would make back in December, right? So you're bringing it home in April, and that's, you know, and the way some people look, 7 months is a year. You know, we let her round up. So almost a year, correct? So that's what that statistic means. And despite the African-American woman in particular being the most educated person in the US and arguably maybe the planet, we are still fighting against stereotypes and financial discrimination, right? For whatever it is. Sometimes people have said, Jamila, you look too young, right? That's a reason why they're not going to pay you a rate. Oh man, you too young, right? And not looking at the resume. Or sometimes it could be because you're a woman of color, because, you know, all those things. But as I always say, that it depends on the work. And no matter what color you are, as women, that's why this shirt says girls supporting girls, because as women, we have to speak up. We have to have the uncomfortable conversations, not only about rates to our employees and our employers, but we have to have these uncomfortable conversations about money with each other. so that we can share that knowledge. And last but not least, one thing that I told when I spoke as Bennett's commencement speaker to the young ladies, and in the point of landing your first job, because it's not all about the compensation, it's about that first job. One piece of advice is understand that all opportunities do not come with their value or price tag stamped upon them. So a lot of people say, you know, and it'll hit you when they go, oh man, I got my first job. The first question is, how much money are you making? How much money are you making? So it trains us naturally to hold the value of an opportunity with the dollar sign. So sometimes it confuses you because it's like, I'm doing this work. It's a great job, but I'm not getting paid enough. And so sometimes the value doesn't come with the price tag. I always say I get paid in 3 ways, ladies. Take notes. I get paid with the bag, meaning cha-ching to cash the check. I get paid in the exposure. Sometimes a platform, you know, things like an EMAs, that's international. That's Budapest, that's Berlin, that's Rome, or you get paid in the skill. Am I doing something that I never did before that most people have to, like all you ladies in the chat, you got to pay to go to school to learn it, right? You got to get a degree to learn it. That's why doctorates and those things, you get paid more on paper because I had to go pay to get that. And it's a blessing when you get all 3. And that is just a little advice on how I view women of color and getting paid your rate. I don't care if I'm a woman, if I'm as a human, I deserve to get compensated if I'm doing the work. And when it comes to landing your first job, take money out of the equation if you can. Some people can't afford to just follow their dreams, or they don't want to go without, right? And last but not least, just to kind of put you guys at ease a little bit, right? Unfortunately, it's not just entertainment. It's not just, you know, entertainment or production. There's a wage gap in 94% of occupations, which means that we got a lot of, you know, everyone can probably relate. And so I just wanted to give those few notes during this keynote. Jasmine, is there anything you want to rap about or chat about? Or did I hit it all? I don't know.
No, you hit it all.
I had to get it out.
You did. I mean, you did an amazing job. You got it all. It's very important for people to know statistics. Just like you said, it's important for people to know that we can build our own tables and assign seats. Absolutely. And just because you're assigning seats doesn't mean that you're not going to get the knowledge at that table to go be able to build your own. Because some people, you know, have that thing of, I just want to have my own. I don't want to sit at somebody. I just want to have. It takes mentorship. It takes guidance. And you have to be able to maneuver and receive that mentorship. So one of the things that you did hit on was the mentorship when you graduated, that you made sure that you had someone from this field and this field and that field. And that is just something that is extraordinarily important. But then it also embodies you to become that mentor as well. So you pay it forward. So even though you were mentored, I'm sure you have a gang of young ladies, either at Dell State or across the nation, who look up to you and who receive mentorship from you as well.
Yeah, and my whole thing is that personal mentorship, being there for people when they need you is to me, it's very important. But also, I'm from a school and a class, and even though that might not be my generation, as they always say, a wise man learns from others' mistakes, a fool learns from his own. I always believe you have to lead by example. In 2021, with social media, everybody's a professional. Everybody's a counselor. Everybody's a mentor. But I'm a visual learner. And so how I learn from others and how I want people to learn from me is, what are you showing me, right? I can tell you anything, but what are you showing me? And every day, if I show you, you know, that if you work hard, if you team up, right? There's brands like Bank of America's, there are brands like the Female Quotient who really believe in pushing that narrative, you know, forward. And so having speakers, people who may tune in, that's mentorship. You don't always have to get that personal relationship. It's kind of like your favorite singer and you go, oh, that's my best friend in my head. Take that same approach to your career and your dreams, and just know that anything that you want, if you're willing to put forth the hard work and the talent, you're going to get it. And don't be afraid to say no. You have to get uncomfortable with saying no to things that do not fit you, especially when it comes to your money and your bag. Because like Nicki Minaj said, right before she dropped the Pink Print, this was her documentary, and she was talking about the comparison between Lil Wayne and men, right? On that soft spectrum, being a female artist. And you hear female rappers always talk about it out loud. She said, if I would have accepted that pickle juice, I would still be drinking pickle juice, right? And it seems like a funny thing to say, but if you pay attention to it, if I pay you $5 to do something, why would I pay you $500 to do the same thing that you just did for $5, even if you're worth the $500? So at some point, and you decide, right? You pray on it, you weigh it out, but you decide what works for you and what doesn't. Don't be peer pressured. You follow your dreams, your goals, and don't be afraid to ask someone, hey, can you give me advice on this? How did you negotiate this? What is your opinion on this? And if they're willing to give you advice, then just take it.
Well, I love it. I love it.